Fortnitemares event is set to be one of the spookiest and greatest in Fortnite history. We're talking a ton of storyline, massive collabs, and the long-awaited return of Halloween to Fortnite. Ready to dive into a world of demon hunters and spirit realms? Then grab your wooden stakes and crossbows. You're gonna need them. Fortnitemares has always been that one event loopers count down to, when the island flips into full spooky mode and everyone's ready for a scare. We've had zombies, witches, even chainsaw maniacs crashing the party. But this year, it's all about the collabs, and they're about to take over Halloween in Fortnite. So here's everything we know so far about Fortnitemares 2025, from the release date to the collabs to the gameplay changes shaking things up. K-pop Demon Hunters just broke every Netflix record in sight and shook up the music charts, all in under 90 days. Epic saw the wave and said, "Yep, we want in." According to leakers Lulo and Spush FNBR, this collab isn't some far-off dream. It's allegedly dropping this very season. Some players think that's why other features are being delayed, but honestly, collab teams and gameplay teams rarely overlap. And here's the wild part, this IP didn't even exist 3 months ago. So if Fortnite really pulls this off, it's one of the fastest collabs in the game's history. We're talking skins for the central trio Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. Probably some emotes, maybe even a Fortnite festival music tie-in. No time for deep cuts like G Noon with his alt demon style, but imagine a Saja Boys soda pop emote? That feels like a lock. If the collab actually lands before the season wraps on November 1st, that's insanely fast-tracked. The only question now, can Epic keep the quality high when they're moving this quick? Guess we'll find out soon enough. Word on the street is Netflix and Fortnite are cooking up multiple collabs, and one of the loudest rumors right now is a Wednesday Addams crossover. Files already leaked that point to Jenna Ortega's viral dance sliding in as an emote, and everyone's losing it over the idea of a full Wednesday skin. But here's the catch, nothing's 100% confirmed yet. Some insiders swear she's locked in for Fortnitemares, others say Epic might hold her for a later update. Either way, Wednesday fits Fortnite's spooky vibe like a glove, so don't be shocked if she shows up stalking the island sooner rather than later. Every year, Epic drops the spooky bomb right around October 10th, about 3 weeks before Halloween hits. Last year, they hit that same window, so you can bet Fortnitemares is kicking off Friday, October 10th. This time, it's rolling out with a brand new update to set the vibe. The update's gonna stick around until November 1st, lining up perfectly with the end of Shock and Awesome Season. And here's the kicker, that finale isn't just a send-off. It comes with a mini-event that kicks off Chapter 6 Mini-Season 2. And yeah, all signs point to the long-teased Simpson collab shaking up Battle Royale. Season 4 went wild with the Queen bosses and those insane medallions, easily some of the most fun loot we've seen all chapter. But now with medallions vaulted and the Queen fights playing out the same no matter which boss you pull up on, it feels like we're due for a shakeup. Fortnitemares is the perfect chance to drop fresh bosses, and maybe even brand new medallions into the mix. We've had bosses in Fortnitemares plenty of times before, but never paired them with unique medallions. The legendary slasher himself, Jason Voorhees, is rumored to stalk Fortnite this Halloween complete with his own skin. On top of that, he's set to bring a medallion loopers can fight for to unlock special abilities. Word is, this medallion could end up tied to Blitz, kinda like the One Punch Man crossover we had before. But hey, if Jason isn't your thing, and you're more into Ghostface, don't worry. The Scream icon is also lined up for Fortnite, rocking his own outfit and a mythic weapon called the Stalker Knife. And yep, he's got a medallion too, though it's still unclear whether that'll drop in Battle Royale or a brand new mode. Either way, loopers, we're looking at some seriously deadly collabs this Halloween. And according to leaks, Scooby Doo is finally rolling into Fortnite for Fortnitemares, and he's not coming alone. The collab will bring Scooby with his own skin, plus his buddy Shaggy, rocking multiple styles or even separate skins. But the real gem here? The mystery machine itself, showing up as a drivable vehicle in the shop. Now, we still don't know if Fred, Daphne, and Velma are joining the squad, but if they do, that's a full-on Mystery Inc. takeover in Fortnite. Another big name circling around Fortnitemares 2025 is the survival horror game R.E.P.O. Yeah, leaks from trusted sources already hinted it's on the way. Expect some creepy character skins and emotes hitting the item shop, but outside of that, details are super scarce right now, which honestly makes it even better. The less we know, the spookier the surprise. One thing every looper waits for during Fortnitemares is those special quests that drop some sweet rewards. We've seen it all in the past. Creepy back blings, flashy pickaxes, you name it. But you know what's almost never on the table? A free skin. This year might just flip the script. Sure, we'll have the Chapter 1 Season 6 OG Pass and a stacked item shop with Halloween bangers. But imagine Epic dropping a free Fortnitemares skin tied to quests, and not just boring quests, but fun ones that make the grind worth it. That would be a whole new level for spooky season and would have loopers grinding like crazy before the event timer runs out. Chapter 6. Season 4 already shook up the map with bug-infested hotspots like the Hive, Swarmy Stash, and Ranger's Ruin. But with Fortnitemares creeping up, it's time for a full Halloween makeover. New map changes could give the island a spooky facelift, especially around those dead zone outskirts. Let's be real, places like the First Order Base and Outpost Enclave are way past their prime. Perfect candidates to swap out for something fresh and terrifying. And it's not just Battle Royale that needs love. Fortnite OG is sliding into Season 6 this October, with Loot Lake floating back. Have probably noticed the infamous red cube looming over the Fortnite OG island. But here's where things get strange. What if I told you that Kado Thorne himself has ties not only to the cube, but also to the bugs? This isn't just a wild theory, it's a trail of evidence. One that links last season's chaos to what's unfolding right now. So let's start piecing it together. First, we need to rewind. Back after the Super Showdown, the tentacle of the Dark Presence was severed, bleeding across the island. The bugs fed on that blood. And that's when the mutation began. That was their origin, their first transformation. But the cube? That's a different kind of anomaly. There's no confirmed explanation. But here's where the investigation takes a sharp turn. One theory suggests the Dark Presence has been fusing its own energy with the 0-point shard. That fusion created a red rift, and out of that rift, the red butterfly appeared, which in turn manifested the red cube. And that's where the evidence lines up. Bugs, blood, cubes, rifts, different pieces of the same case file. And the deeper we dig, the more we realize none of this is coincidence. So how are they connected? That's the question. And like any good case, the evidence doesn't just sit out in the open. You've got to dig for it. But before we dive into them, don't forget to use my creator code in the item shop. Some of them confirmed by Hope herself. Dark Presence was actively mixing its own energy with the 0-point shard. That fusion is what many believe triggered the appearance of the Red Rift, and with it, those strange crimson butterflies we saw during the blast. But here's the part that catches my attention, the color scheme. That red glow wasn't just cosmetic. It mirrors the energy we've seen tied to the spirit realm. And now, fast forward to today, and the red cube is pulsing with that same aura. Coincidence? Not likely. The investigation doesn't stop there. In the opening story quests of this season, when we track the source of the bugs, the portal itself shifts red. The exact same shade. And if you line that up with the design and colors tied to Kado Thorne, the overlap is hard to ignore. Which brings us to the real deal with the devil. Kado took it, but did Thorne steal it, bending time to keep rewriting his fate? The answer's still out there. But one thing we do know, the files don't lie. It means what we saw in Chapter 4 wasn't a coincidence. It suggests we were looking at a Kado Thorne who had just begun using his machine to bend Fortnite's timeline. So how does Thorne slide into the main storyline now? Here's the theory. Picture the OG season into the spirit realm. And there, waiting in the shadows, is Kado Thorne, tasked by the Dark Presence itself to track our main cast of characters. Possible. It's starting to feel inevitable. Chapter 6 kicked off when a 0-point shard crashed into reality 783. Thousands of years ago, this place was home to them, but local clans banished the demons to the spirit realm and sealed the gates. Everything stayed quiet until that shard hit and shattered the seal. Suddenly, demonic energy started leaking out again. That's when two big threats showed up, the mysterious Shogun and the possessed Night Rose. The darkness from the spirit realm wasted no time snatching up the fallen shard, because it holds insane power. Trying to stop the nightmare before it spread, the Demon Hunter family, Jade, Kendo, and Dago, teamed up with Jonesy and Hope, who had arrived searching for the shard. Daigo, the cocky older brother, decided to fight the shogun alone, and actually won. Knowing the shard wouldn't be easy to protect, Hope and Midas, who somehow also ended up on Oninoshima, launched a... But then, everything went wrong. Drunk on his victory over the shogun, Daigo fell under the mask's influence, became possessed, and joined the side of darkness. All last season, he drained the island's life force to open a gate for the dark presence itself. Loopers managed to stop him temporarily thanks to the Supernova Hero program, which awakened after the reality pulse. But even though we won that fight, the damage was already done. The dark presence's blood seeped into the ground, awakening a swarm of demonic bugs. And in this fight, our biggest ace is an organization called OXR, led by the mysterious Onyx Winter. If you listen closely to the new in-game dialogues, you'll learn this isn't the first bug invasion the island's faced. OXR has been around for centuries, and I've got a feeling Epic's about to dig up a few more lore holes while they're at it. Still, thanks to OXR, Jones and Hope discovered something huge. The bugs can slip into the spirit realm through special access points, bypassing the main gates entirely. Now the island's rescue team is figuring out how to use that same trick to infiltrate the spirit realm and reclaim the 0-point shard before the darkness can weaponize it. But the dark presence isn't just sitting back. Hope can sense something terrifying brewing inside the spirit realm. It's starting to feel like darkness is planning a massive strike on Oninoshima. Remember, the fracture event rewound us back to a time isn't set in stone. A perfect example of this logic is Marvel's Loki series. Loki's fate was supposed to be predetermined. He was destined to die at the hands of Thanos. But one of his variants broke free of the cycle, and from that moment on, the future kept shifting depending on his choices. Fortnite's universe could absolutely work the same way. Back in Chapter 1, the story was likely stuck in a loop. Just look at Jonesy's bunker drawings. But the actions of the Seven pushed that cycle onto a brand new path. Without a doubt, this cycle will end, and a new one will begin. The only real question is, how do we get there? That's entirely up to the choices of our main characters. And since we've already mentioned the meteor from Season 3, the very event that starts, so if the old events do return, they'll play out completely differently this time. Now I want to talk about the very first member of the legendary Seven, who we met after the crash of the cosmic meteor. Some of you younglings are probably scratching your heads, wondering how one single character could make or break the next 13 seasons. Saying it out loud almost sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But trust me, it's not. The Visitor was the spark that ignited the entire Fortnite storyline. If the meteor had never existed, the Visitor couldn't have landed on the island, and the ripple effects of his absence would have been massive. The Seven made sure to light a fire under them, and not the cozy kind, because these guys knew how to throw a real chaos party. That's why the IO kept such a close watch on the crash site, to track one of their greatest enemies. But here's the thing, they didn't catch him, at least not in the original reality. But in our new one, who knows? So let's fire up those brain cells and get back to the rockets. Here's the catch. What if, in this new reality, there was no meteor? And no meteor means no visitor. And no visitor, no rift. And without the rift, no drift either. This chain of events could go on forever, because that tear in the sky